Welcome, folks, and thank you for being here with us on this last thank you episode for Season 10. In Season 10, I'm introducing you to Letha Francis, who was the lead character in my trailer back in the day called Finding the Sweet Spots, which is now been published in a book now called, as you may know, Amen to Sweet Spots, on Amazon, guys. Stay tuned. Hello there, Ozzy here, and I thank you very much for being here in our Thank You project, where we're introducing Letha Francis, and who was on my trailer called Finding the Sweet Spot. She was the lead character, actually. And that trailer, Finding the Sweet Spots, became a book in 2020, bestseller, Amen to Sweet Spots. So follow, like, share, comment. This episode is brought to you by the Heritage Store. I use their black castor oil because it's nutrient-rich in omegas, minerals, and ricinoleic fatty acids. It's also cold-pressed, hexane-free, and organic. It helps to hydrate and deeply nourish hair, the dry skin on my elbows, knees, and heels. They also carry a castor serum, which volumizes lashes and brows, which is dermatologically and ophthalmology tested. Check out their organic castor oil and their organic cotton flannel wellness pack, which promotes overall health and wellness. I gotta get me some more. I'm almost done. On this episode, I'm shining light on Letha Francis, actress, writer, musician, lyricist, entrepreneur. So please like, follow, share, comment, and then check us out later on the ITC. Before I get to Letha, we have to know who Letha is, or you have to know who Letha is. So Letha M. Francis, M for Malika, is a versatile and accomplished artist whose career spans various creative disciplines, including acting, writing, lyricism, and music. She holds degrees in English and political science from the Johns Hopkins University and has honed her craft as an actress at Studio Theatre Conservatory, Black Nexxus with Susan Batson, and with Gail Charee. As an actress, Letha is recognized for her significant roles in films such as S.O.U.L of a Black Woman, 2019, Deceived in 2013, as well as the television series Rose Anglade, also 2013, episode 1. Her dynamic stage presence has captivated audiences at prestigious venues, including Central Park SummerStage, BAMCafe Live, Nuyorican Poets, love that cafe, the Congressional Black Caucus, S.O.Bs, Joe's Pub, the Knitting Factory, and the Canal Room. Letha's television appearances include features on TV One, the Oxygen Network, and Finding the Sweet Spot. Hey! As well as her contributions to the national promotion campaign for Tootsie on Broadway and professional voiceover work for Al Jazeera America Network TV. A talented musician, Letha has showcased her original song, Travel the World, at the Juilliard Fringe Festival as part of the stage show Ugly, and served as a vocalist in a production of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. Her music uniquely fuses elements of soul, reggae, jazz, and poetry, often accompanied by intense lyrical imagery aimed at inspiring and healing. As an advocate for mental health and wellness, Letha's work is informed by her belief in the therapeutic power of creativity, an idea she explored further after learning about occupational therapy during auditions. Currently, she's participating as a lyricist in the Liam BMI Musical Theatre Workshop and is in the process of completing a musically driven screenplay that sheds light on the experiences of BIPOC individuals. Look it up, BIPOC. Letha is also founder of S.O.U.L LLC, a multimedia content producing company. Her latest offering, Declutter Like a Mother, is a self-love package that encourages relaxation and creativity through a thoughtful collection of items, including her poetry book, which emphasizes the importance of clearing emotional clutter. We all have that, folks. Additionally, she offers the Core Writing Lab, a course that inspires self-affirmation and expression through various writing techniques. For more on Letha M. Francis, visit her website at lethamfrancis.com. And now we go to Letha. All right. What inspired you to pursue a career that spans multiple creative disciplines? People usually choose one or maybe two. What's going on?
That's a very good question. Well, what initially brought me to New York years ago, I've been auditioning for a really, popular play that was on Broadway, and then I'd also been in theater, when I was in college.
Right.
So I said, well, is this something I could do? Is this something I could really do? Now, all of this time, I'd also been writing and singing. Now, when I came to New York, I got really far with these auditions, and I said, maybe it's something that I could do. Maybe there's some talent in there, and I want to push, I want to push myself, see what I can do. And of course, as you know, it can be a hustle up in the city, in New York.
Yes.
So, while I'm doing the auditions circuit, hitting, this is, we don't have the virtual audition, options at this time. We're hitting the pavement, right?
Yeah.
And it became stressful, So one of the practices I really, really leaned very heavily on was writing, right? And so from there, so I'm still, doing my auditions. Sometimes they call for, someone who sings. I, could sing, hold a few notes, and of course acting. So those were my major things. But writing, I really began to lean on just for my own, to remain centered, right? So I kept writing. I mean, it was something I would do if I'm on the subways or if I have, some time to myself. So long story short, the writing eventually evolved into songs, and I really got heavily into writing songs. And so you see how there's
and the evolution of things.
There's always an evolution, and to me, in my head, in my space, they all make sense to me because it was timely in in my growth as an artist, but also as a person.
Right.
So,
how did your education in English and political science influence your artistic work?
Really good question. So, English, I would say especially, you see so many different works. There were a lot of poetry that I was even able to perform. So you get exposed to works. You have to do a lot of writing. So again, it just, again, like a natural progression. The music was also very much a part of me since I was very young. So eventually those worlds just fused together.
And where did the political science come in?
It was of interest.
Okay.
It was of interest.
Can you share a defining moment in your acting career?
One moment that made me say, you know what, this is something that's special to me. And even, I was in school, and of course, I actually love education. I love taxing and challenging my brain in that way. But when I went to not even an audition, but actually got my role in acting and was really doing a lot of acting in college, there was a moment where, the lights were focused and I stood there in front of the lights and the stage in front of strangers. And there was just a connection to the piece, and a really weird, eerie, awesome, powerful connection that was hard to get in any other space. Also, I was pretty much, and still am in many ways, soft-spoken. But in that moment in theater, in that moment in front of, the audience, it said, this is my time to be heard, And that also became that became a theme for many years. And I would say even still was voice. I need a voice. I have to voice something. And it definitely has continued, I think.
What challenges have you faced as a BIPOC artist, and how have you overcome them?
I would say especially around the times when I was kind of pounding the pavement, doing a lot of work, honestly. And, at times it was like, for me, it was, okay, I'm working a lot, but how do we get the cents together? How do we get the New York, bills ain't playing, so I remember that was definitely, really, really important. Also, with this call to have this voice and the call to, and sometimes when work is presented, you're like, where is it? Where's the work? That's also another reason why writing was important, because it's like, okay, they might not be out here looking for me, but I'm here and this voice must be heard. So perhaps I can write something, I can add something, so yeah.
As a lyricist in the Lehman BMI musical theater workshop, what have you learned about songwriting? Because you've been doing it for a bit.
Yeah. So what I like about it, but also this is also the challenge, is connecting and collaborating. When I was doing a lot of the songwriting here when I lived in New York, there was naturally you eventually connect and collaborate. But kind of being away from that center, I've been doing lots of work solo, right? So this is saying, no, you to make something super powerful, to use what you don't know, what you are still learning. That connection and that collaboration is so important, So just to be able to collaborate, to get someone else's vibe, to get someone to work with someone else's skill set and put something together is a really powerful.
This episode is brought to you by the Heritage Store. I use their black castor oil because it's nutrient-rich in omegas, minerals, and ricinoleic fatty acids. It's also cold-pressed, hexane-free, and organic. It helps to hydrate and deeply nourish hair, the dry skin on my elbows, knees, and heels. They also carry a castor serum, which volumizes lashes and brows, which is dermatologically and ophthalmology tested. Check out their organic castor oil and their organic cotton flannel wellness pack, which promotes overall health and wellness. I gotta get me some more. I'm almost done. How do you incorporate mental health advocacy in your artistic endeavors?
It is so important. It's always been important to me from the beginning. One of the things, besides saying like, there's something about wanting this voice to get out there and, and be more open with that. Healing, always. The focus, the purpose in the work that I did and the work that I am doing and look to do. That's a good question.
What is the work that you did within the mental sphere?
One of the dreams that I have is to connect these worlds, right? These seemingly separate worlds in terms of art and creativity and mental health and wellness.
Right.
And so just leaning in and finding a little bit more about the mechanisms, why, art is healing, But even those ideas are always in mind, like making sure that there is a cathartic or some sort of therapeutic aspect to the work. Like even in finding the sweet spot, or I know the title has changed,
Amen
but even in amen to sweet spot, to the sweet spots, just really making sure that the character itself is deep and is, there is some connection that makes for catharsis for the viewer. Now, going back into my work in the past, it's more so the stuff that I've done as a writer, or the stuff that I've done on my own. For instance, before I even got into therapy, I did a creative writing therapy program in Brooklyn. And I worked with a few people to get them to write, doing a lot of journaling and using that writing and journaling as a way to express, as a way to be, as a cathartic, process. Because I know for me, writing in itself has been a cathartic process. So eventually, taking the long road, I see myself doing that now. The people that I work with, I often tend to use writing as a way to.
And what I can tell you is that going forward, we're going to be needing a lot more help in that arena, right? In what ways does L Inkwell LLC reflect your personal artistic vision and values?
Well, again, the link with creativity and wellness.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be two separate spaces.
Right.
I think when you are creative, when you're tapping into that part of yourself, it leads to wellness. And
so what motivated you to create the self-love package, Declutter Like a Mother? How'd you come up with that name?
My goodness. So it was through, some art happens sometimes through some stressful times.
Yeah.
So I had been going through a stressful time. Through a stressful time and also, a divorce. And, in that time, I had seen a friend who wasn't doing too well. And I remember thinking about my own personal situation and then thinking about this person's situation. And it wasn't, for this person in particular, it wasn't just what was going on emotionally or even the space, that she was in, it wasn't well. And just literally clutter. So there was an emotional space of clutter, but then there was also physical clutter that I've never seen before. Actually, me and a sister went into this space and we couldn't believe that this was the person, that we knew. And it was really, really heavy. And, I came back home and thinking about this person who we loved, and then thinking about my own stuff that I was really working through at that time. I, was in bed, just up, and I was like, declutter like a mother. Literally.
Right.
And as I mentioned before, or maybe I haven't mentioned, writing itself has been so therapeutic. So that became the beginning of just writing, and in the process of writing, feeling better. There is a huge, unsaid, kind of hard to put words to, but a cathartic release that happens, for many, and I know for me, when writing. And so the pieces just came, and I continued to write. And
there is the book.
And there is the book. Now that is the book. Now there was only going to be a book at the time.
Right.
Eventually, we went through all of what we know as with COVID, the health crisis, right? And in that time, of course, besides there being, issues with publishing and things like that, at the time I was like, I felt the need, a strong need for it to be not just, the words were important, but I felt the need for it to be an experience.
Right. Okay.
So an experience that involved multiple senses, that involved, someone being able to look. So there's a film aspect of it. Involved someone being able to take a pen to paper themselves, and perhaps use some of the techniques and some of the strategies that I've used on my own and really pour out into the paper. I know it to be healing, and I know for others that process can be healing. So I said, well, let me try to get this together. And kind of like what I do sometimes, I might set up my environment, have, different, scents, visuals, dim, so there's candles. So really just having that whole body, holistic experience, in addition to the words, which they can read and listen to at the same time.
And there is the book.
This is the Declutter Like a Mother package. We have teas, there's a candle, there is essential oil, various essential oils. This one is ginger. There is a pen and a journal. And this is the poetry book, Declutter Like a Mother.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful.
And there's a course also that goes with it as well. There's so many different promotions, and also I'm getting it together and growing as an entrepreneur myself.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
But yeah, there are many things that come with the package.
Yeah, because with the package also pieces could be added to it as you grow, as that has been happening, which is great. As an entrepreneur, you continue growing with that.
Exactly.
What do you want your artistic legacy to be remembered? How do you want it to be remembered? Like, what kind of message do you hope to leave behind?
Again, a very good question. I want healing to be a part of the legacy. That creativity and being true to yourself and your spirit, even sometimes when it's difficult to, finding that authenticity and connecting to it, no matter what, regardless how difficult it is, oh, you got to pay the bills. Oh, you got to, do a class. Oh, you got to take care of baby. Oh, you got to do, but still at the center of it, to remember, to connect to who you are, and to, no matter what, continue believing in what it is that you're here for your purpose, and that it will work out.
Do you remember being on the trailer, Finding the Sweet Spots?
Yes.
What are your thoughts? What do you remember about it? What do you take away from it?
Well, I remember it being a fun process. A lot of it was fun, but then also at the same time, it was intense.
My name's Ed, and you are Ann. Let's go to lunch. Come on, take a chance, Ann. We're going to lunch? We're going to lunch.
The fun was in connecting with people. There were some scenes. Remember, we were in a store. That was fun. A couple of stores, just hitting it, going out there, and just on the fly. Yes. It's fun, and you're meeting artists and you're doing work. So that in itself is awesome. And then I also remember there was some serious, scenes, and just challenging myself to, to be a part of that and to do it well and do it service. I know this isn't you. You giving me this.
And as you said, everything was cold. You had to work from not knowing to knowing and doing. And you came and you hit it. And all the scenes that you were in, you were just part of it. I remember the scene that you had, the love scene that you had. That was, I knew at that point that was new to you. But you worked through it. The part where you had to be in front of Christopher, where he's auditioning you. Right?
Oh yeah.
And he had to say, he had to tell you, bum, 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 and then to see your reaction in real life, which is how we would be, because in your mind, you're getting the opportunity to do the piece, to do that audition again, right then and there. But this time you're in camera, whereas usually we're in a separate room, people don't see it. You know what I mean? And that had to be portrayed in the trailer. But every time I look at it, you really, really did well. Chris did his thing in you, and you were like, okay, I hear you. And it was wonderful. And this, to me...
I need an actress right now. Kyle told me that you're really good. Okay, so sit down, take the chip off your shoulder, get back in the role, and just do it.
It was a very important part because, again, the book has come out, but the trailer is still there to be done, to be made into something at some point. And really, the storyline is about my life. And you came into my life to portray me. And I just wanted to thank you. And that's why you're here.
Awesome.
So thank you.
My gosh.
You came in not knowing. You handed your verbiage at the time that it was needed to be shot. And you stepped up. And I appreciate you. And thank you guys for stepping in, for watching Letha. for listening to what she's doing with reference to healing, serious work, for all the different genres of work that she's into, and meeting this soft-spoken but really magnificent soul, Malika Angel.
All right.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And you're going to sit here for another minute because we have to do the other part, which is called Inside the Call, which will be found on our membership page. So see you there, guys. And as I always say, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny, sunny side of the street safely. Be health conscious and kind to one another. And don't forget to give thanks for the little and big gifts as we strive through into this beautiful life. So see you next door at ITC Inside the Call. Appreciate you coming in all the way from Maryland for this. Appreciate it.